So we have our guest here, Nnamdi Uba. Good evening. Thank you for joining. You're muted, but then I could read it.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for joining. All right, today we are discussing an amazing topic. How can a 9 to 5 person buy a land? I don't want to say verbatim, but then we know that, I don't know, I think I've been hearing this. I don't know, like it's not the truth probably, that people say that quit your 9 to 5 and start your business. But then I saw a video somewhere, was like, go ahead and quit your 9 to 5. You will die. I'm sorry to use that word. Because you're going to have to think all the time. You're going to have to plan. Like the whole business is on your head. And I'm not a fan. I'm not trying to tell you not to own your business. Please do own your business. I think I do have a business too. But then I'm also still a 9 to 5. But then the question is, can a 9 to 5 own the land? Land is even small. Can the person even own a property with your 9 to 5? And that is what we'll be discussing. So I'm going to be passing the microphone to Nnamdi to take us through that. And later on, I'm going to be asking questions. So do ensure that at any point where you have questions, do drop it in the chat box. And also, if you feel like you don't want to type or you want to say it, please just signify. And I'm going to attend to that question. All right. Thank you. So Nnamdi, thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having me here. I can see my Oga, let's see Maria. Your boy is loyal.
I'm sure he's loyal too. And he has given you the platform. All right. Before we get started, do you have anything you want to say before I start giving you the questions back to back? Because I have a lot of questions already. So before then, we just go ahead because I'm ready for you with my question.
Let's get started.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So my first question. So a lot of 9 to 5 workers, right, want to own land, but they feel it is too expensive or too far from their reality. So why do you think many salary earners delay buying land?
Okay, I think because I'm also a 9 to 5, so I think majority of us has this challenge of assuming that we need the money to be complete, or we need millions of naira to be able to get started. And because our money comes in monthly, we kind of wired our mindsets, you understand, into prioritizing expenses that can disappear every month. For example, once the salary comes in, you divide everything. You have sent the one for maybe your rent, your data, your transport. So that's mostly how all of us that are doing 9 to 5 is wired. So we just bring out all our pieces, the money into different expenses and maybe into savings too and all that. So that way, we do not have that enough money to always say we want to buy property or land. So I can say that the challenge is not there is no money, or we are not actually being able to acquire these properties. But the challenges I'm seeing here is mindset. It's all about mindset. What do you think, or what do you actually think first when the money comes in? How do you position or plan your fundings as you earn your salary on a monthly basis? So it's not usually the income, but the mindset. I've seen a lot of 9 to 5 who built their houses while they were working. You understand? I know one of my friends, he's a banker, build his house while working as a banker, as a cashier self, you understand? So he was putting all the money as he's coming into building the house, and today he's a property owner. So I believe his mindset that is actually stopping a lot of people to partake in becoming a landowners or a property owners, not the funding or the income.
All right, thank you so much for that. I do agree with that, but then I want to know if my if our participants also agree with that. Please just give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Yeah, I believe it's mindset. But then there is another, just one person. So we need to have at least 5 people before we accept that. Or two. Okay, we need 3 more persons. So if everybody do not agree.
Well, as we are going there, I think there are so many questions that could also set up a proof of what I just said. Okay, so let's keep going.
All right, please drop your questions if you do not agree to that. Yeah, I said earlier that I agree because I believe it's also mindset. I believe it's mindset because I remember discussing with a friend too about like not just not the land. It's about saving. Listen, I can't save. Okay, then I was in school, I was a student back then. And I'm like, you can save from this little income. I was like, no, I'm not even eating. I'm not even okay. How am I going to? Funnily enough, the person's income is higher than mine, and I could still save, let's say, at least 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira. Then, and really, it's truly mindset. It's truly mindset because if you set your mind at all, I want to own a land, I want to own a property, you can always take out something, even if it's small. Even if it's small. We're still going to go into details because some people will be like, okay, if I take out a certain amount, let's say my income is 200,000 naira, transportation, data, and all of that is about, let's say, 150. My major expenses, 150. Then I have black tax, I have other things, miscellaneous, and all that. How do you expect me to get the money to set something aside? Don't worry, we're going to get into that. So let me go ahead with the next question. We have, okay, someone says he agrees. Okay, so the next one is from your experience. So I'm trying to read it from where I typed it. From your experience, what is the biggest mistake salary earners make when they start thinking about land ownership?
Okay, I could say that one of the biggest challenges we are making as salary earners when we want to buy property is this is also going to be back to mindset, but I'm not going to reframe it as mindset anymore. I could say is us waiting for the perfect time. We are all waiting for when we have that bulk money, when we have that big money coming and all those kind of things. But there's no time. Land doesn't remove prices, you understand? Unless you are lucky to get a distressed one. So, but if there is no any distressed one, land is always going up, and all that. So the prices increases and all that. So this is where actually the installment plan comes in place. You lock a land in a price of today, and then you pay over time. That's actually how I see installment plan. I'm not seeing it like where I'm paying small. I see it as me locking up land in the today's price while I'm paying tomorrow. You understand? So most of us, we want to wait for that excited perfect time before we make that decision. It's not that we don't necessarily need to buy outright. We just need to plan and then follow. I could remember the first time I came to Lagos. I stopped at Abraham Adesina. In fact, Abraham Adesina was where the development stopped. Other places were bush. But today you can't say the same. You know, and that time too, people were waiting for the right time, you understand, to buy there. But the people who didn't wait actually acquired the whole, all those places. Now development has expanded far to almost Ekpe right now. Now buying land in Ibejulekibik is now hot, is now even hotter than then. There was even a time when even Lekki Phase 1 were more of bushes and swamps, you understand? So is what kills most of us is we are waiting for the perfect time, and time doesn't actually wait for no one.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Again, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I want to know if our participants agree with that. I can just give a thumbs up. I agree with that, and I agree with that. But then, before now, okay, for me, before I encountered Keble, I didn't know that there is this installment plan. And also, I was quite skeptical about it. I'm like, what if I give this? What if I give this people my money and they vanish? No, 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 no. And I think that is the importance of having like apps where you can track and also follow through. Ever since I think it started with saving app where I could, oh, okay, I could see my money growing, and same applies to real estate. Like you can go on Keble app, you can buy your property and can like check, okay. Also, if the land is like 1 million naira, I remembered, I think 2 months ago, some of our offerings were 1 million naira. I think there is a particular land less than 1 million naira if you pay outright, because we have like different plans. And I was just still looking at it, thinking, should I? And I was the one who announced it on social media that we are increasing the prices of our land by the following month. I still didn't make the payment. I wasn't looking for the right time. I was just like, should I? Like the land went as high as like I think 500,000 increase. Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Once it comes out and I like it, I just lock it in. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. All right, I have another one here. For someone earning monthly income, what is the first thing they should do before looking for land to buy?
Okay, so this is now comes into if you're earning 200K, like you mentioned. Okay, so the goal here is you knowing your budget. You understand? How much do you think you can be comfortably, you understand, paying on a monthly basis? You understand? So you have to choke yourself. You understand? With because you want to buy land, so you need to understand yourself first, know the things that of course buying land as a salary earner comes with a lot of sacrifices. So you might stop maybe going to shawarma joint or going to a lot of places that just take your money unnecessarily. So you just have to look at yourself, look like there are lands that are within your budget. There are also land that are out of your budget you don't have to go for. So it's all about you knowing how much you know that you can easily cough out on a monthly basis. In fact, that is why I also like the installment plan. After you must have saved to some certain point, you can do an initial deposit, and then the smaller ones, the installment becomes a little bit easier for you to pay gradually, so that you can be able to own the whole plot in maybe 6 months or 12 months. So once you can understand that, okay, this is how much I can comfortably be able to pay every month, then everything becomes super, super easy for you. So it's not about your income. You have to think it's about it's about what actually fits your income, and not the emotion part. The emotion part I mean now is what Omolade said about I've not eaten or I've not even paid my salary, or you understand. So you need to take those things away and then look at how much am I actually making in a month, and how can I make this amount fit in buying property without me suffering and when I'm buying this property. So that's actually what you need to do to be able to start buying.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And thank you for saying, I think you talked about the part of not buying shawarma. But then YOLO, you only live once now.
There are 2 days now.
Oh, they are cheated. Okay. Okay, thank you. I like the budget part you mentioned. I like that. I think one of the scriptures says that who wants to go into a battle without first preparing. And I think that is the mistake a lot of some people make, like the spur of the moment. Oh, I heard that this land is 1 million naira, and you have 500,000 naira sitting in your account, and you have nothing left aside that 500. Then you have to wait for the next salary, and a lot of people just go ahead and buy it, and yeah, like okay, waiting for it to increase. Like a lot of people, by next year I will sell it, not knowing that land is liquid and it's not easy to sell. I love that. So everyone, budgets before you go into it. I love the whole process of how we started, the mindset, then budgets now. So before you go into like, oh, I want to prove to the world, actually prove to my village people that I have a land. Check your budget so that we won't embarrass ourselves. All right. Thank you very much. Please do drop your questions or signify if you would like to ask question or questions, any question at all. Thank you. All right. So my next question. This one is funny, Sha. Okay, Mike. Oh, okay, Mike. Okay, you can go ahead, Mike, before I read my question. Thank you.
Okay, I think for me, it's just like a contribution, if I can go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nnamdi Uba. I think you have knowledge of what you're saying. I was also a 9 to 5 person, despite that the mission stopped because there was no funding anymore from the U.S. I was a staff of the United Nations. But when Donald Trump came and his policies, we have to withdraw funding and we have to close on our mission. So during that time, I think 9 to 5 to me is something that it has to do. If you want to acquire land with 9 to 5, it's as easy as thing. You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. I learned, you talked about going shawarma. Shawarma is just one bit of it, minute of it. You have to sacrifice a whole lot of things, but not to the detriment of your family if you're a family person. I was a family person, but I have to call my spouse, my children, and I told them, look, this is what I'm going into. It's for the betterment of the family, and this is what it will cost us. And they equally understood with me. Today, I'm a proud owner of lands, not even land, and it's something that I can pass on to my children, even if the job has stopped. Some of our colleagues that was gallivanting with a salary because the salary was a good one, today some of them are crying home. Even if the job has stopped, I'm just doing delay gratification because I know that something is on ground for me to sell tomorrow and make up for the years that I've already invested in the delay gratification. So for me, it's just like a contribution that if you want to own land as a salary earner, you must have to be disciplined and work towards it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mike.
I'm super sorry. I hope you can hear me. My neck will keep going on. All right, thank you. I'll just move ahead with the next question. And yeah, thank you, sir, once again for sharing that. So the next question is, should salary earners save first and buy outright, or is installment payment a better option? I feel like we talked about this earlier, but then I want you to talk about it again.
Okay, it depends on what the salary earner person can carry. You understand? If you can comfortably buy it outright, that's awesome. In fact, you can even buy a cheaper rate because as you are buying outright, you are the most powerful person in the whole world at the negotiation table, because you could say let's say the price of the land is 5 million, and you want to pay outright. The person actually need money. So you could even say, I can pay you 4 million right now. You have done almost 20% discount. So it becomes easier for you if you can actually pay outright. You own the conversation, you own the negotiation. You can even buy cheaper than the market value. So, but so many 9 to 5 earners may not be able to do this. So installment plans are usually the better way to go about it. So installment plans reduce that burden. So when doing installment plan, always go for a down payment that can help you reduce the installment plan easily. You understand? So if you want to be paying 50,000 naira monthly, that means you need to pay a higher down payment. If you want to be paying 100,000 naira monthly, so that's your down payment determine how much you need to be paying monthly. So, and like I always say, I prefer installment plan because I buy of the price of today and pay over time. So that way it's easy for me to lock down the plots while paying for installments, while paying for it gradually, and the land value is also appreciating while I'm paying. So I could actually finish making payment, and the price of the land has actually increased more than what I actually bought that land. So for me, I go for installments. I don't get money, so it pays more.
Thank you so much for that. I think I'm your team installments plan. Thank you for that. It's just like, just know what works for you. If you
Exactly.
can afford it.
I've seen a lot of people, especially in my community. I have women community because I talk to women about owning land. So in my community, I've seen where women are paying 5, 6 installments of different projects. You understand? So it makes it easy for them. So instead of using one money to buy one plot, you spread it across 5 plots in different locations. That's actually not putting your eggs in one basket, like we usually say. So you can spread that money in installment to different projects, and at the end of the day, you own 5 instead of owning 1.
Interesting. I love that. I love that. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for that. Just know what works for you. And if you have a lot, why not spread it across? Cast your burden upon the waters, and you'll reap a lot. All right, there's this question that is quite interesting that I want to ask. So it says, when buying land on a salary, should people focus on where they can afford today, or where the area is likely to grow tomorrow?
There's usually these graph charts I used to explain when buying these properties. So I don't have it here, but I'll just explain it offhand. So buying property has one fundamental, especially in Nigeria, or in fact anywhere in the world. Location is actually what matters, right? So, and the location is not about the location. It's about what is in those locations, or what is going to happen in those locations in the future. You understand? For example, when Dangote announced they are building refinery in Epe, everything started happening around that area because of that announcement. Then airport started happening, Lekki Seaport started happening. Epe became another thing that the government has to shut down the selling of lands in those areas. So as a 9 to 5 buyer who wants to acquire properties, you need to be able to choose affordable areas that has a very, very high growth potential. You understand? So you don't have to go to the bush to buy because they say buy affordable. So something has to be happening, or that might be a news. You understand? Once you just have, that's why they say information is also key, and that is why we are having this kind of conversation. So you could hear one or two informations about a particular location, or you maybe like now in Port Harcourt now, the moment the federal government signed that agreement with a Chinese company of reviving all the refinery companies, LMA in Port Harcourt became a thing. In fact, the community started fighting about their lands. You get real estate developers start moving there immediately because that's just it. You understand? Once there is a proper information about a particular location, because before real estate in Port Harcourt has been going one side, which is with the airport as is. But now it has shifted from that airport to LMA as is. You get the point. So that is actually how these things work. So, and imagine if you have owned in that axis before even these informations come up. That means by now your property is already rising, maybe in exponential level, because if it's 3 million today, it becomes 5 million the next month, 10 million, because rush will keep going there. So that's actually how to buy. So the people who buy when nothing is happening are usually the ones that takes the main money, and the rich do not come to. So that is why we are talking about 9 to 5 now, because we are managing ourselves. We are coming out gradually, so we don't have to buy like the rich guys there. So the rich don't come to the 9 to where land is developing. In fact, the rich people are the ones that can create those things before everything start happening. For example, I stay in Port Harcourt, and I heard about the news that Tony Lumelu bought either a big expanse of land in a chair. We don't know what yet he wants to use that land for. But immediately that news started going around, land there is already finished. You understand? People have bought those lands immediately, which I even joined, you understand, in buying. So we just go and buy. We don't know yet, but we have bought at a very cheap rate, waiting for one day he's going to announce, I want to build schools. I want to do university there. Boom! Land we bought at 200,000 naira start going to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. You understand? So that is how it works. So as a 9 to 5, always choose the affordable areas with great potentials. Also, you have to keep your ears to get information where these locations, where things are happening. You understand? So that or immediately you notice how the developer, another way to get this is studying how the real estate developers are moving. You understand? Because them too don't go where it doesn't happen. So they move. So once you see, like I mentioned, now everybody's now moving to LMA. Join and move. Follow, grab one or two there. You understand? So as you see as now, like let's look at Lagos now. Everybody has lived there and start moving into different areas. Like we have Mowe and the rest. Now everybody's now moving to those. But people are not going to Ibadan for farm estate and all those kind of things, and Ibejuleki and us. So just also move as everybody is moving. That's actually how you're going to gain it. But if you go on your own, maybe one bush like that, it might stay 20 years. Nothing has happened there. And that is it.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. So for we 9 to 5ers, fellow 9 to 5ers, affordable places with great potentials. And how do you know great potentials? When something is happening around those areas. Also, follow where the developers are following. Thank you, follow on our road. And that's very, very important. That developer, that's new. That's new to me. And that's very important because you do not have the technical know-how So someone is already going there. Why not follow? So that is why you have to be abreast with news and what is going on around you. That's amazing. And please, whenever the schools are in that easy element, I can share my details so that we can for that partner. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. That is very insightful. So please do drop your questions so that I can pick them, or you can just signify. And I hope you are taking in one or two. Please just give a thumbs up if this is helpful. All the questions are helpful. I'm reading the questions that I have here. But then if you have one that you would like to talk about, please do ensure that you leave the comment in the chat box, or you just signify. All right. Okay. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, resource person and moderator. I want to make an appeal. The resource person is staying in Port Harcourt. I'm equally staying in Port Harcourt. I want to make an appeal if I can connect with him. That's number one. And secondly, I want to bring to us this evening about something. It's just one line of statement that savings is not an investment, but you must save for you to invest. We're talking about buying landed property here. It's a must for you to keep money aside for you to catch up with either you're paying small or you're paying outrightly. That's why I reiterate it again that savings is not an investment, but you must save for you to get money to put into landed properties. Landed property for me is one of the goal for me. Landed property, gold, and stock. But for me, for now, stock and landed properties and gold is the in thing for me. So for me, I was a freelancer when I was out of school. For me, seeing landed property I was bought in the 80 for 7 naira and sold for millions of naira, I made up my mind that I must go into real estate, and it's really, really paying me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for that. Did I just say 7 naira?
7 naira.
Yes.
Wow.
I think our resource person is staying in Port Harcourt. This 7 naira was at Rumudara by Cheta Street. I was shocked, and it was sold for millions of naira.
Yeah, I think I started my life in Port Harcourt in Rumudara. So I stayed at the room of Hara. That was when I was serving. So I could, even then, save land there was around 500,000 as of that was 2011. So, and now those places are like the gold mines of Port Harcourt. So you can't even get land there at 30 million.
Wow. 7 naira, 30 million. Wow. I love when he ended that. That was when he knew that it was land. I think someone asked me, because I'm always like, oh, I'm a stock person. And the person started saying me posting about land and all of that was like, when did you discover that this is the path? I was like, I'm still discovering. That's 7 naira, 30 million. That is wow. Wow.
Yeah, well, the thing is investing in real estate, like I said on the last question, on the answer to the last question, you need, as you are going to where that you know that something is going to happen. Of course, you're not waiting for it to happen in 1 year, you understand, or 2 years. So bear it in mind that you could keep at least 5 to 10 years, you understand, waiting. Because the person just acquired, and also because the person that acquired came to acquire at also a cheaper rate. I don't know if you're getting. So the person came to, let's say, like I said, Tony Lumeli came to acquire big expanse of land there. He came to buy at a cheaper rate. You get on what he wants to do, and he might still wait for it to like maybe 10, 20 years. We could reach 10 years before it mature and all those kind of things. The same thing happened even when Dangote started. Those places, that place, the Dangote refinery wasn't just acquired the moment they said, okay, we want to do the refinery. That land must have been acquired very long time. Yeah. You get the point. So when the land was actually very, very cheap. So that's actually how to become very rich in this real estate thing. Sometimes you just go and acquire and forget about it. If you can find ways of securing it, you do. I have a friend in the village. This guy is in the village. He drives only ladies' machine, but he's a millionaire. Let's say a millionaire in hundreds of millions, because he has his duplex, everything. So what he does is go into the communities, buy 200 plots, go to the local government, get approval to put roads there. And once, you know, one thing about real estate is once there is roads, there is price. So once he get approval and put roads, he's not doing like real estate companies. He's still, I can still call him a real estate, but he's not registered. So he just go buy 200, 400 plus from the villagers. Sometimes they buy 50,000, 20,000, you understand, 100,000, and start selling to people 500, 600, 700, 800, and now he's a very big boy. So everything, you can still be the one who can bring in development where you are also buying. So you don't have to wait for maybe Tony Lumelu, and depending on your capacity anyway, you understand. So, but that's it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. The millions it entered, but then I should also enter into my year that I have to wait, and that is great. Yes, you have to wait. But then there's something that happened, I think in Lagos, this coastal road. Certain people bought it and now they're making millions. But then because of the flooding, I heard that the government plan on expanding the road. So some houses there or property there will be demolished. And they'll probably be giving certain amounts, but then I don't think it will be worth the value at which they bought it, or maybe the value of the property. What do you say to that? What do you say about that? What do I do to run away from this after putting my little hard-earned 9 to 5 money, and then the government is telling me that something is going to, what's my business? So what do you have to say to that?
So Nigeria is a very, how do I put it? In Nigeria, nothing stays forever. You understand? In fact, things stays in Nigeria just 4 years. You get. So why am I using 4 years? I'm using 4 years because our government stays 4 years. Each government lasts 4 years. So things changes with new government. You get. So that is why I advise people. C of O is the biggest land title in Nigeria. But, you know, and the Land Use Act also give all the whole authority to the government, which means the government owns the land. And again, there's a place I'm driving with this. So what it means is, with your C of O, a governor can still come and say, I revoke it. It's no longer a C of O. I take the land. So whether you have a C of O or not, you don't own anything in Nigeria. Any government can come and change the status of that land ownership, either by force or by begging or by saying, I'll give you small thing. You understand? So the only best thing I usually check in any land is it free from government acquisition? What is the state of that land from the master plan of that city? You understand? Because if you go to Lagos master plan, that coastal road has been there ages. You get the point? It's been there. It's just that people felt they might not build it. You get, people felt they might not build it, so they were just buying across. And of course, coastal road too has its own. Any coastal road show supposed to have some space around it. You understand? I don't know the standard state, but government can change it and all that. So buying land in those kind of locations, you must be able to check all those things to be able to make sure you are free. You get from those kind of things. So one of the things I check mostly is this land, does it have any future government acquisition on it. If there is none, then I'm fine. I can know that I can easily go buy, register for myself, and nothing is going to happen. Although, yes, in Nigeria too, a land that is free today can be government acquired tomorrow. That is why as you buy, you go and register. So even if government comes back to be able to get that incentive that want to pay you. But when buying land in Nigeria, just know that it's not your own. Government can always come back for it because they are renting it to, even if they give you CFO, they are renting you that CFO for 99 years. And CFO comes with a grand rent. So as they give you CFO, there's a rent that is supposed to be paying yearly. If you're not paying that rent too, they can easily say, Omo, as you're not paying, give us, we'll revoke. Wike has been doing it since he's been in Abuja, that he even revoked the title of PDP Secretariat House. So you see that is not something that we cannot run away from. But the best thing is making sure that you check the master plan. How is Lagos planned? What are the places? Like so many people were buying military land without knowing. So many people were buying cemetery without knowing. You get, so these are the things that you may not be able to know if you don't check those master plans. And government will come back and say, we want to go back to cemetery. You don't have problem. They will demolish all the whole houses there and redesign that place as cemetery. So for example, I was using Kano as an example. So the last government before this current government converted a land that's supposed to be a market as an estate. So maybe they gave it out to their friends who are estate developers. People bought the whole land. They issue everybody CFO. People started building. You know, now 8 years of being in the government, you must have built your duplex, finish, and all those kind of things. Who have built their duplex, packed in, and all that. Boom, the opposition party won in Kano, and the new governor said that place is a market square, it's a marketplace. We are revoking all the whole CFOs, and we are demolishing all the whole houses. That is Nigeria for you. So a new government can give you CFO, another one can take it away from you. Look at also what happened to Landmark, the same thing. He's a CFO, he has CFO, he had everything. You understand? But the new government came and said, no, this place is called startup, we are taking it, it's our own, and that is it. So that is Nigeria for you. So knowing those master plans when buying is actually very, very important. Always check, always go and do charting and know whether that land has any future government acquisition in it. If there is none, thank God, buy. If there is, please run away from it. Even if you, yes, you can go and do rectification. Say you want to rectify that place to become, so that government will remove their hand. The current government can collect money from you, rectify, give you the original document, no wahala. A new government comes in and tell you, please, we are not in support with what happened here. We are taking it away. It also happens when you are buying from families too. You're buying from family, always make sure everybody in the member of that family is available and everybody consent to it, because you might buy today, the one that comes from prison will come back and say, I was not in the picture. Don't put head in that land, I'll kill you. I think it's a joke. So it happens everywhere. So I think these are the things you need to run away from when buying property.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. The more I hear about that, the prison, the more I hear about all of that, the more I'm like, oh Lord, thank you for Keble. I don't have to go through those stress. I do not have to go through those stress. I just go to my app, make my payments, because they do all the work for me. And that's the beauty, to be honest. That's the beauty. You do the work, I just pay it, okay. And I rest.
Exactly.
I rest. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that master plan and the document. So which brings me to the last question that I have. I think everyone is in support of my questions and they're enjoying it and they do not have any question. So I'll go to my last question, which is, you already mentioned it, but then I just want you to reiterate. What document should I receive after making my first payment? And what document should I receive after completing payments?
Okay, it depends on the people you are working with. So if you're working with a real estate company, so you should be expecting maybe an offer letter. And most of them call it frequency asked question. That FAQ document or something like that. So you need to be able to understand the offer before so you know what you're actually paying for. You understand? So you need to get that, feel, sign, and agree to what they have written, because that offer letter contains even defaulting if you did not pay and all those kind of things. So when you make your first payment, you should be expecting payment receipt. I'm sure most of these things has already been automated in Keble, you understand? So then your payment schedule, you start seeing what you have paid, what is remaining, and when next, and when due time you're supposed to also pay. So that's actually what you should receive on your first payment. Then when you complete your payment, you should be able to receive allocation letter, survey plan. So in survey plan, there are two types. There are provisional survey and there is a registered survey. 80 to 90% of the real estate companies are giving provisional survey. So they give you their own survey, which is done by a licensed surveyor. So you can go and register it yourself. Registration is not that expensive. Although in Lagos is about either 450,000 now, depending on your location anyway. But I think a pair Aziz and all that is about 450. Ajar is about 700, 800. Lekki Phase 1 is about 1 million, 1 point something. I don't know. But that's actually how it is. Then other locations like in Port Harcourt here is also depends on the local government. Like Port Harcourt is also very expensive. I think about 350,000 naira. In Obiakpo is still around 170,000. In Eche is around 100,000 naira. So it depends on the locations that you can register. Some real estate companies add this pricing on top of the value of the estate, and then they go and do it on your behalf and give you. If they say register survey on their maybe selling printed this thing, so you know that they're going to register that survey for you and give you provisional survey. Some of them give you provisional survey while they register the entire estate, in a stamp, which is still okay. So depending on the one that the real estate company is working, they are not all of them are also okay. You just have to. The only thing is that provisional, you have to go and do it yourself. You understand? Then deed of assignment in Port Harcourt is not deed of assignment. It is deed of conveyance, but they are all the same thing. You understand? It means that I now have the power to convey this land property from the seller to the buyer. Deed of assignment in Lagos is also the same thing. So I think in the eastern part is also deed of deed of conveyance. Asaba, Oka, Anambra, they are all deed of conveyance. Then in Bini is actually a total different name. They call it deed of transfer. So different names, but they are all the same thing. They mean the same thing. That is the legal document the seller is giving to the buyer, saying that I have handed or have transferred the ownership of this plot to you. So that's what it is. So any other document can come in place depending, you understand? So maybe if the company is also helping you to do CFO, you get the CFO and all that. Then of course, the official receipts from that company or from the family you are buying from. The deed of assignment, always make sure, if you are buying from family, always make sure the family, everybody in the family is around when you are signing the deed. You understand? Why I'm saying this is I've joined my dad to buy a land. I think in Aba. We bought the land, made payment, started building shops there. But the people, the family, because the man married, I think, 2 wives. It's always issue when the families, there's always 2 wives or 3 wives. These ones are in agreement, these ones are in disagreement. Always avoid those kind of families, but they're always rampant everywhere. So you just have to find a way to bring everybody into one picture before you can sign those deeds. Because if you sign without the other family, you have not actually bought anything, because they can still come back and disturb you. You might even end up buying again, paying another additional money again. Most of the real estate companies, these are what is actually making them to be poor, even when selling a lot of land, because most time they buy these things from this family and it will cost issue. They have to go in order to negotiate and not to make their client feel the impact. They will pay again the same price again twice, just to maintain the integrity of the company and all that. So these are one of those things. So in our own, we had to agree. I think we went there around 10 p.m. to make sure everybody's around before we sign. Because we have paid them, we came with another cash, more like buying drink cash. And the moment their father signed that agreement and we signed our own, we ran away because anything can happen if you do anything. So we just ran away that night, and they started arguing about how they can share the money. Nothing concerns us anymore. With them, we find their deed, and of course, the land become ours. So always make sure those things are done before you take over. And of course, after that, always go to your land and put, even if it's L shape, you put L shape at the end point of the land. You know, so if you don't have money to fence, just put L shapes. And you can even put it, there's another one you can put in the middle. That way, that land is secured. Nobody's going to touch it, and it's your land.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all drama. I'm like, no, I'm not going to experience that. Take a look at my compensating family members. It's none of my business. I'd rather go through their path. Let me pay to Keble, whatever. And also, you started mentioning the amount for the documents. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I'm actually enjoying when Keble says, oh, just pay this certain amount and pay it in installments and the land is yours. No family drama. No, assignment payment or anything. Wow, that's a whole lot. Thank you for that. Do we have any question before we call it a wrap? All right, yeah, I wanted to say something also. I know a lot of 9 to 5 are always like, oh, can this money that you people are saying, I still do not have it. What I have is 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 naira. And that's why we introduced Flex on Keble. So Flex is a feature on some of our offerings where with as little as 20,000 naira, you can start owning a land. Like the land is probably, let's say, I'm giving an instance, probably say it's 1 million naira or 5 million, or let's say 5 million naira. You can start owning, you can own the land with as little as 20,000 naira. So you start paying 20,000 naira for as long as 3 years, like up to 3 years. So once, instead of waiting for, oh, I don't think I can pay that money in a year or 2 years, I don't even still think so. This my 9 to 5 is 9 to 5. Or you just finished school, you're a core member, you're a student, and you're like, I can spare 20,000 naira, but I can't spare it for 1 year. I can't meet up. See, we are offering you 3 years. Theory. That's long. So you can explore that feature and just like you said, quickly lock it in, pay it. Then if it increases, you already bought the land already. All right. So I wanted to answer Mr. Mike's question where he asked if he could connect with our guest. So what's your answer, sir? Because he's an active member in this conversation. So Mr. Nnamdi, what do you say to his request? Should he follow you on Instagram
Of
or
course,
how to see
of
reach
course,
you?
you can follow me on my social medias. Then we can, I think from there we can have a conversation. I'm
Okay.
always available to meet new people.
All
Uh,
right.
yes, of course, we can connect and see what
All
we can do for
right.
that.
All right. We already dropped his Instagram handle in the chat box. So Mr. Mike, you can connect with him. You can just say that, just explain that, oh, from Keble. You will enjoy the session. So just a brief, I trust that you're going to do the introduction. I trust you for that. So yeah, we already dropped his Instagram handle. So do follow for Insta so that maybe when he says something on Instagram, this is where we are heading to. You follow him. Just like he said that follow who knows road, so you can follow him. Okay, I have one last question here. Please, where can one find the flex feature on Keble? Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I saw the question, but I wanted to finish what I was saying. So the flex offering is available on two landed properties on Keble. Do you have anyone who wants to ask a question? Please let me quickly know. Henry Enterprises, your mic is.
Good evening, everyone.
Look at the property so that I can let you know, Mr. Edit. So the flex of feature is available for Empire Park Estate, and I want to be sure so that Empire Park Estate and Woodgate Prime. So I'm sure that we're going to make more offerings available, but then for now we have for Woodgate Prime. Just check for land and Empire Prime. So if you want 150 square meter, 300 square meter, or 500 square meter, you can start with as little as 20,000 naira. Thank you for that. Do we have any other question before we call it a night? Thank you so much, Mr. Nnamdi. Such an amazing time. I enjoyed everything. The whole story, the explanation, and the new insight. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Are you saying thank you to me? I think I should say thank you more. All right. So do we have any question? I want to believe that we answer this. And I want to believe that every 9 to 5 here is ready to like start this land ownership. If you're a female, start it. There is this data that female, the number of female who own property are low, incredible. They are so low compared to male. So please let us bridge this gap. Don't let the likes of Mr. Mba and Mr. Mike always take the land. Let us, we can do
Yeah,
this.
it's actually very low. I think in Nigeria, according to UN, is only women in Nigeria actually own 10% of Nigerian land at the moment.
Can you imagine?
Less than 10%.
Less than 10.
I think it's about 2% that they are about.
Can you imagine my fellow gender? Let's do this. Land. We can start with land, and with as little as 20,000 naira. We can achieve this. I believe in us. All right. I believe we answer your questions, and I believe that you enjoyed this session. And yeah, thank you all for attending this home circle. We always have this every Saturday. If it's not every Saturday, we are going to communicate that to you on our social media platform. So also do ensure to follow our social media platforms. Follow Mr. Nnamdi Uba. We already dropped his Instagram handle. I'm going to copy it and send it again. We dropped it, so follow him, follow Keble, and be abreast with information that we have. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mba, once again, Mr. Nnamdi Uba. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Call it a night. Good night, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your night. Dream about owning a property. Dream about owning a land. And for the female, let us close the gap. Start, even if it's a land, 20,000 naira. Thank you so much. All right. Good night, everyone.